The Watercolour Renaissance project has a foundation of 3 different pillars. These foundational pillars are essential for the project to work successfully and obviously for it to benefit everybody. So the way I will structure now, from now on, the videos will actually deal with these 3 fundamental pillars. The first pillar is obviously watercolor. Watercolor is the reason that we're having this project and why that we're all coming together as a community. But in these videos, I'm going to go through technical information that may help you or should help you to improve your painting, to give you a better idea of analysis, different exercises you can do, and things basically to improve your technicity, but also your watercolor results. The second pillar is the Renaissance. The Renaissance is a term that I've used, which basically englobes the progression, the new direction, a dynamic and a very community-based positive action. In this section of the videos, I will give you the information on basically what's been happening, what I've been doing, how the project's developing. And of course, at some point, I'm going to call upon you for those of you that wish to become active members, not members, but active people, I would say. There's no membership required, but active people who want to help on the ground to set up events, to do all the hands-on stuff, okay? The third pillar, if you haven't figured it out already, is you. You are the third pillar, because as I've mentioned, this is a collective project, and every single collective project comes down to the people. So Watercolour Renaissance, and the only way this project will work is if there is a lot of you that get involved. You can get involved just by posting your images on Facebook, just by sharing information, just by using the information personally on your own local events and your own local level. You don't have to be involved in the bigger projects. If you want to, you can be. But the information here is basically to bring a broader knowledge and a broader guideline of how we can do things better. And if every person is basically like a brick in a skyscraper, and every person is really solid in their foundations, really solid in their knowledge, and really solid in their ability to get good results, good publicity, get things moving, even if it's a dynamic on a local level, that brick becomes an important brick for the development of the skyscraper. So if we get lots of bricks that have this same sort of dynamic, the sky's the limit. In the first video, I suggested that you go back to drawing. Now, drawing is basically the foundations, because what do we have? We have shape and we have tonal values. These are the 2 foundations of every single painting, whether it's monochrome, whether it's abstract, whether it's figurative, it doesn't matter. These are the 2 foundations. Now, going back to the essentials and going back to the foundations is essential to create a healthy base and a solid base on which we can build, whether it be your own career, your own painting, or it be the watercolor field in general. Let's go back to the foundation, and this comes through drawing. Drawing, if you imagine that you're sitting in front of a subject, so you're sitting there for 10 minutes, half an hour, you're sitting there and you're looking, you're actually looking, you're not seeing just for a second, but you're really observing your shapes, your tonal values, and the relationship between shapes, color, value, and everything in the surroundings. Understanding that a subject has a context. So say you're at a port where there's boats. You're going to have the noise, you're going to have the people, you're going to have the activity level. Is there lots of people? Is it dynamic? Is it calm? That's going to affect your perception of the subject. Is there strong sunlight? Are you feeling that strong sunlight? Is it cold? Is it does it smell? All of these outside factors will actually affect your perception of the subject. And your perception of the subject is actually what triggers your expression of in that you put across in the painting. So this is vital. When you go out and you sit in front of a subject, you gain so much more than just the subject. You gain the energy, the surrounding, the context, which is what will come through in a painting once it's completed with this information. So drawing is the basis of observation. It trains your eye to see. It trains your eye to see the shape, the lines, what comes forward, what is pushed back. It trains your eye to see tonal values. It trains your eye to see suggested shape, definition. It trains your eye. And why this is so important is not just for any painting, but specifically for watercolor. Because when your eye sees, when your eye is trained because you've been drawing for so long to see these shapes and learn how to put them on the paper, what happens is that you become faster at it. And as you see shapes, you see how they fit together. In the beginning, it will take a little bit of time, but as you do it more and more, you're going to get faster at it. But as this happens, your analysis increases in speed. You begin to literally see a subject and within fractions of seconds say, that has to go, this has to come in, darker here, lighter here, definition here, suggestion here. And you become very, very quick at this observation and analysis process. This is so important because this is what is needed in watercolor. Watercolor is the only technique where we really have an issue with time. Time to paint. So the time that you have to actually put colors down, the time because there's the drying sequence, but also we don't have that luxury of stepping back for a day, for a few hours and just sort of say, I wonder what I'm going to do next. When you're in a painting, when you're in a watercolor, you have to keep going. There's something that just makes you need to keep going. And there's that fluidity behind the watercolor that when it's stopped, when it's broken, gives a more rigid, a more defined feeling, which is often the catalyst, if you like, that makes us lose a little bit of that watercolor magic. That watercolor magic really does come through the water. The water is the basis of watercolor because it's what fuses the colors. It's what creates the transparency, but it's also what creates the suggestion and the mystery, if you like, in the paintings. So this is what observation does. It heightens your capacity to see. It heightens your speed, your rapidity to analyze, which means that when you're painting, this gymnastic which has been going on, which is now becoming really rapid, and you can use it on the spot, helps you paint your painting in a faster manner and get faster to the essentials. Okay, so that's why drawing is so essential. It's not just for the hand exercise, it's really the analysis from the eye to the brain to the hand. So keep doing that, that's essential. What this video really wants to get home to you for the technical side is I want you to let loose. So many people have been like this, have been tensed up with fear, with stress. We have to get that out. You have to get that out. You can't hang on to that. That's negative in so many ways. You have to get rid of that. Now, often what happens is when you go back to painting because you haven't painted for a while, or even if you are painting and you've managed to keep going through the confinements and the lockdowns, often what happens is that we're in a mode of repetition. Now, I've seen this for years. I've been watching this for years. I've been watching this and I've been saying this over and over again the last 5 years. I've been watching artists just repeat the same painting over and again, over and over again. Pretty much the same subject, using the same colors, using the same technique, using the same composition, using the same shape of the painting. It's a repetition over and over again. Repetition does not does not allow for creativity. So what happens when you're in this mode of repetition? You actually lock yourself into stronger habits. You actually create and you anchor these strong habits that become hard to break. Now, when you're painting in a methodical and habitual sense, you're going to always put your wash on in the same way. You're going to use the same colors. You're going to take your color in the same way. You're going to use the same brush. You're going to use the same brand of colors. You're going to use the same colors. You're going to use the same paper. You're going to be using the same everything. But if you use the same recipe, you're going to get the same sort of painting. And progress cannot occur if you're just repeating what you already have done. So to break out of this and to break away from this stress and this repetition, you need to just basically lose it. So the way that I do this with my students in my workshops and the people that I have in the online courses is I get them to go out of their habits. I get them to break away from what they usually do. So this is playtime. Okay, this is playtime. It's not time to create a painting, it's playtime. So if you have big sheets of paper, not watercolor paper, don't use your expensive paper. It could be big sheets of cheap drawing paper. It could even just be newspaper. It doesn't have to be anything that you would normally paint on, just anything you can find. Even if it's wrapping paper, who cares? Any big sheet of paper. Okay, I want you to take a dimension that is scary for you. I want you to go way above your comfort zone. I want you to take colors that you don't normally use. I want you to take brushes you don't normally use. If you don't normally paint with lots of water, you're going to take buckets full of water. If you normally paint flat, try inclining your sheet. If you normally paint inclined, try putting your sheet flat. But lose every single habit, whether it be preparation or tools that you have, put them aside, and for playtime, just go silly on the sheet. Throw paint on, use colors you don't normally use, just watch them fuse, add anything you like, add salt, add soap, add candle wax, add sand, add dirt, add anything you want, and just watch what happens. Just make yourself laugh with whatever you see on the paper, and be surprised and be appreciative to the little miracles that you see happening. Because if you normally paint inclined and all of a sudden you're flat, everything reacts in a different way, and vice versa. So perhaps it's going to give you ideas, and this is what will happen. This is the goal, is that by changing everything that you use and that you normally, the way you normally prepare a painting, you're going to discover new things. You're going to say, oh, I normally paint inclined, but painting flat, I can now see that this is brilliant. This effect that I can do is brilliant. I'm going to keep painting inclined, but maybe my first wash I'm going to do flat now. Or this color, I thought it was horrid. Oh, it's brilliant. It's brilliant for an underwash. Or perhaps this brush, it's maybe normally to paint my walls in the house, but it's brilliant. It gives a great effect. Or maybe it's a roller, or maybe it's whatever. But you're going out of your comfort zone, but just making an abstract nothing to play in your application and what happens on the paper. Who cares what it looks like at the end? That's not important. It's just the discovery again. You're rediscovering watercolor, but in a different way. And this, I will guarantee you, will give you so many ideas. You'll laugh. You'll be thrilled with things that you'll discover, and it's so stimulating. It's going to give you energy, and it's going to boost your confidence, and it's going to give you ideas. So that's my suggestion to you. Keep the drawings going, because that's the foundation. That's the analysis, the observation. That's super important. But now, just to break that tension and that repetition, just go silly. Call it playtime. You don't need to look for results. You don't need to say it's going on the wall. It's going to be inscribed in a competition. This is just for you, just to let things out and to discover something new. It is a brilliant way to improve your painting. This is pillar 2 on a Watercolour Renaissance project side. I don't have a lot to tell you at the moment, except for the project is steamrolling ahead. As I said, there are people that have volunteered to be involved, different countries, different cities, things are being set up, and it's really good. I will start to announce different locations, and I will start to work with watercolor societies that already exist, or watercolor salons that already exist, and give them a foundation of what this project is about and how they can implement it in their project. The third pillar, this is you, this is me, this is all of us. Okay, so you are essential as you are essential for the project, but we need to get to a place where you are feeling good so that you can paint well. How do we do this? When you're not feeling well, there's no point to sit in front of a sheet of paper because nothing good happens. Then you become frustrated. Then you'll start to say, I'm no good, I'm going to give up, I'm not going to paint watercolor anymore. You're going to throw your brushes on the floor, you're going to probably kick the dog, you're going to say you're going to start tennis, and it's going to be a disaster. So don't go down that track. When you're not feeling good, but you want to paint, the first thing to do is fix the problem. If you're cold, put a jumper on, put the heating on. If it's because you're hungry, eat something first. If you're stressed, you need to get the stress out. How to deal with stress before a painting. When you have a feeling of stress, you're agitated, there's something that's sort of eating away at you. It's energy. It's a form of energy, and it's sort of like little ants that are sort of like lingering and niggling at you. The best way to deal with that, I have found, is basically just get a pen, a pencil, a piece of paper, and just basically scribble really fast. But do it so fast, and do it for, say, 3 minutes, that you exhaust yourself. You're not doing it for, obviously, the scribble on the paper. You're doing it basically to eliminate this uncomfortable energy. So you just scribble, and you do it so fast, as fast as you can, as fast as you can. You should get to the point where it starts burning. You do it so fast, so fast, so fast. And if you can't do it anymore, change hands. Change hands. And what happens is, after you've done it, you're so relaxed. It's really fun. It's really weird, but it's really fun, because that just disappears. You can look at yourself thinking, gee, I hope the neighbor's not looking at me through the window because I'm going to look a bit like I'm a bit crazy. But it's so effective. So try that. It does work. It really does work. If it's not enough, you're going to have to move the rest of your body. So go for a walk, go for a fast walk. Whatever you do, it needs to be fast. The idea is to eliminate energy. So if you can run, go for a run. If you can't, if you want to jump around and dance in your living room, that's what I do. That's what I do. Do that. If you just want to scribble, do that. But I can promise you, you will feel better doing it. And it will actually help you concentrate on your painting after. It only takes a few minutes, but it's very effective. If you're not well, if you're not feeling well, this is a very, very, very effective tool. This video is in English. I have a health video. I have a health website. I have 8 years of studying health, my own health problems. Most of you already know of. I've already spoken about them, which I dealt with and I corrected. But go onto my health video. You will find so much information on there. It's all free. It's all there. You'll find everything. My first information for you on this level is whatever you eat before you paint will affect your painting. Now, how this works is very simple. If you go and eat something heavy, most people, when they eat a heavy meal, they get sleepy. They need to have a sleep. That's what happens, because so much energy is being used to digest your food that there's none left to do anything else. So your brain cannot be creative. You don't have the energy to do a dynamic painting. You're feeling lethargic. Don't eat heavy. Just like when we do sport, when we have a sport competition, a music concert, or any event, when you want to feel your best and you want to have lots of energy, eat light. You eat basically fruit and vegetables. If you can, just raw fruit and vegetables. A big salad, put avocado, salad, tomatoes, add some fruit, add some nuts. If you don't think that's enough, add a poached egg into it. Eat light, and you will save your energy, so you'll feel better, you'll be able to be more creative, and you'll be able to concentrate more. If you want to improve your health on a longer term, go on my website. I'm not a doctor. I'm not saying I am replacing doctors, but what I have learned is so important. Go visit my website. You are going to find so much information which is life-saving. I know, because it saved my life. So eat light before you paint. It will give you a greater capacity to concentrate, and it will give you more energy, and it will give you more creativity. Watercolour Renaissance is a collective project. My intention is as much to help you as it is to help the field. So gain as much information you can, paint outside, try and just play to expand the things that you know, to contact people and say, hey, let's go drawing here, let's go painting here, let's go and have coffee and chat about the things that we're doing, and see, chat, I did this worked for me, I tried that, but I changed it a little bit and it works better for me like this way. If you can't talk to people physically, go on the internet. Go on the Watercolour Renaissance Facebook page. Go on another Facebook page. Just do it through emails, but communicate. Get that communication between people going again. The Watercolour Renaissance projects and the exhibitions are starting. So if you already have an exhibition, if you already have a watercolour society, you're a president, vice president, or a chairman of one of these societies, contact me and let's see how we can get things improving for you, because it's so easy. It's so easy. It's so fundamentally easy. We have the energy, we have the tools, we have the knowledge. So let's do it. I speak to you soon.